People often say that people change, that time changes people, that experiences change people. And sometimes that feels true. Someone becomes distant. Someone becomes colder. Someone becomes someone you don't recognize anymore. And the easiest explanation is, they changed. It's simple. It's clean. It helps you move on faster. But what if that's not what's really happening? What if people don't suddenly become someone new? They just slowly reveal who they've always been. And what you're seeing now isn't new. It's just unfiltered. When you first meet someone, you don't meet the full version of them. You meet the version they're ready to show. The version that feels safe. The version that feels acceptable. Sometimes even the version they wish they were. And this happens in small ways. In how they speak. In what they choose to share. In what they choose to leave out. They show you their best timing. Their most thoughtful responses. Their most patient side. Not because they're fake, but because first impressions are careful. People don't lie. They just select. They choose what feels right for that moment. And over time, you start building an image of them based on those moments. An image that feels complete, even when it isn't. Time doesn't change a person. It removes the effort of maintaining an image. At the beginning, people try harder. They think before they speak. They adjust how they react. They notice how they're being seen. But over time, that effort becomes exhausting. Not because they don't care, but because no one can hold a version of themselves forever. So slowly, they stop filtering as much. They speak more directly. They react more naturally. They show what feels easier instead of what feels ideal. And that's when things shift. Not suddenly, but gradually. So gradually that you don't notice at first. There's usually a moment when something feels off. Not dramatic, not obvious, just small. Maybe it's something they say, a tone you haven't heard before, a reaction that feels slightly different, or something they didn't do that you expected them to, and you notice it. Even if you don't say it out loud, even if you don't fully understand it, you just feel it, and for a second, you pause, and then something happens inside your mind. You start explaining it. Maybe they're just tired. Maybe it's a bad day. Maybe I'm overthinking. You give it meaning that feels easier to accept, because the alternative would change how you see them. And you're not ready for that yet, so you move on, like it didn't matter, even though a part of you knows it did. But then it happens again. Not the exact same moment, but the same feeling. And again, and again. And at some point, it stops feeling random. It starts forming a pattern. And patterns are different. Patterns don't need explanation. They create their own meaning. Because repetition removes doubt. You can ignore one moment. You can explain two, But you can't keep explaining what keeps repeating. At some point, you have to see it for what it is. And that's when your perception shifts. Not all at once, but quietly. You start connecting things you didn't connect before. Moments that felt unrelated start making sense. You begin to realize it was always there, just not clear enough to notice immediately. And now, you can't not see it. And that realization doesn't always feel dramatic. It's not always anger. Sometimes it's just quiet disappointment. A small shift in how you feel when you think about them. A slight distance you didn't choose, but can't avoid anymore. And that's what makes it hard. Because nothing big happened, that something still changed. And this is where the focus turns. Because it's not just about them, it's about you. About what you choose to see, what you choose to ignore, what you choose to stay connected to. Seeing someone clearly is not just awareness, it's a decision point. You don't always say it out loud. You don't always act on it immediately. But something inside you makes a quiet decision. You either accept it, or you keep pretending it's not there. And both choices have a cost. Sometimes, understanding people starts with understanding what you're willing to see. And sometimes, the thoughts you avoid are the ones that matter most. If you need a place to sit with them honestly, there's something in the description. And once you see someone clearly, it's not about whether they changed. It's about whether you're willing to keep seeing them that way.